Welcome to TalkNWRC. My name is Erin Hutcheon, and today I am joined by Aoife Harvey, lecturer in art and design, former student, honorary award winner at our graduation ceremony, TV star, entrepreneur and business owner. Couldn't give you a better welcome than that, could I, Aoife?
That's perfect.
And Francine Moran, who is a former lecturer in science and NWRC's newly appointed Principal Lecturer in Sustainability and Social Responsibility, the first ever person to have held that role, if I'm right, Francine?
That's right there.
So today we're going to be talking about sustainability. So Francine, what does sustainability mean to you?
Sustainability to me means how we are developing a just society for future generations. Most people have a misinterpretation that sustainability is only about environmental impacts, but it's also about our social impact and our economic impact on the world around us. But it's also much bigger than that. It's about equal opportunities, it's about just society, it's about access to services, it's about health and well-being, a whole range of different aspects on our daily lives. Yes, where the focus is now is mostly about environmental impact, because we're looking at climate change and other factors that are having an impact on in the world around us. So the Sustainable Development Goals are a set of 17 principles where there is targets for every government, every country in the world, and ultimately filters right back down to organisations, and we're working towards achieving them goals within Northwest Regional College.
Yeah. And Aoife, as well as lecturing here, you run your own sustainable fashion business. How does that work? What does that look like?
So I'm a sustainable designer, so I make one-of-a-kind pieces from reclaimed materials. So it starts right at my start of my production chain, where I'm sourcing dead stock, reclaimed, and then I'm making made to order. So I never have like a big bulk of stock. I'm just making custom for the client. So sustainability is in my process from the start to the finish.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you mention sustainability at NWRC, the two names that would come to mind would be Francine and Aoife. And you recently collaborated on a sustainable fashion show at NWRC. How did that come about?
So that really came about. Myself and Aoife had a discussion about how can we integrate what she does and what I do. My job is more about a holistic approach to everything to do with sustainability at the college. Aoife has her focus in terms of sustainable fashion, reusing, reducing, repurposing. So ultimately we looked at how can we embed our overall strategy about sustainability into curriculum areas. And one of the first sort of projects that we looked at was within the art department, and we looked at integrating that into a national campaign. So it was for Sustainable Fashion Week, and effectively we came up with this project where we ran a competition for schools and our own students. And that culminated in our first ever sustainable fashion show at Northwest Regional College.
And did the students really embrace it? And even your own students in art and design, Aoife?
It was amazing to have so many entries, and what I wanted to get at too is the textile history that's forgotten about in Derry with the shirt factories and everything. So all the students had to take shirts and upcycle it into then a new outfit. So it was really exciting for them. And then to have live projects, outside of your own projects that you have in your own units, it's nice to have that going.
And do you think our young people care more about things like that now? It's part of just the way they're made up. Maybe my generation wouldn't have thought that way, but the younger generation, they do think about it.
I see it in my own students, like teaching fashion design and textiles, like going to the textile bin and using the scrap fabrics. They start sampling and testing rather than thinking, right, I need to go grab a new roll of fabric here, I need to go buy new fabric. So you can definitely see them being more cautious in their process, which is great.
And Francine, I know you have big plans for how you can make NWRC a more sustainable college, and you already have done a lot of work already. Could you just tell us a wee bit about that?
So I think with any organisation, sustainability has to be embedded in the DNA and the vision and the ethos of the organisation. It can't be an add-on, or it can't be something that's added and as a tick box exercise. So really from our point of view, we want to embed it in everything that we do, our operations, our support mechanisms, our finance department, our estates department, and ultimately in our curriculum. So everything that we do has a strategic emphasis and a plan, and it's basically working towards all of our goals, like net zero. So we're aiming to be a net zero college. We're aiming to look at all of the different operations that we have and how they can become more sustainable, and also that students are involved in the process. So it has to be embedded in everybody's job role. It can't just be one person's responsibility. And even if you think of us as citizens, we have a moral and social responsibility as an individual, not even as an employee or not as a student. So it's about a cultural and behavioural change within people's mindset about sustainability, and for them to understand that it's part of their daily role as a normal citizen.
I even find it like teaching people how to sew again, and like running the workshops that you've organised, the sustainable mending and repairing, and the amount of people have lost that skill of sewing, like not knowing how to hem up a pair of trousers or how to repair a button, and you're just throwing it away and, you know, buying something new. So it was scary to see that, but getting these new skills back into people again is so rewarding as well. Like
And is there that shift, you know, especially with young people with such a focus on fashion and looking good, there's that temptation, you know, to buy something cheap online, or are people making conscious decisions about maybe buying second hand, or, you know, maybe try not to buy as much?
I definitely see people wanting to buy the quality now of the vintage clothing that you can find in Vinted or charity shops, and people are starting to appreciate their clothing more as well, and learning how to, you know, care for it properly and how to wash it properly and look after their clothing. So definitely see it coming through.
Right. And Francine, I know you were involved with the college's beekeeping course, which is another part of, you know, how the college can become more sustainable. I mean, from what I heard, that course was extremely popular.
Yeah, so the beekeeping course was an introduction to beekeeping. It's running through our engineering and sustainability faculty. It was completely oversubscribed, and there's a big demand for that. That's just one element of what individuals are trying to do at their home, like grow their own food, be able to rear small animals, produce their own honey and so on, and that's a real shift that we wouldn't have seen before, and it's something that we're going to keep that partnership as well. So it is a partnership with the local beekeeping, Dairy District Beekeeping Association, and ultimately all of our projects that we do relating to sustainability need to have partnerships. So we have lots of community and voluntary sector partnerships, partnerships with university, councils, etc. And ultimately, because of the depth and broadness of sustainability, there's no individual organisation that can do this on their own. So part of my role is developing and building and sustaining these partnerships so that we can get the best for our college, best for our community, and best for our students.
What I love is you two have teamed up as well to get the staff involved. So I know there was some staff development classes, and that's making us as staff thinking about it as well. I mean, and they're very well attended. Everybody is on board.
It was great. We done the upcycled tote bag workshop where people brought in like old bed sheets, old curtains, old tops and t-shirts and made their own tote bag. And then we done the repairing workshop as well, where everyone learnt all hand embroidery and hand stitching. So it was class.
So plenty is more going to be happening now in the future, and, you know, plenty for students and staff and stakeholders to get involved in.
100%. So even in the month of March, our curriculum staff took part in the SDG Teach-In, which is an international campaign where they pledge, and Aoife was involved in this, where they pledge to embed sustainability in their lessons and make it relevant to their curriculum. So it doesn't matter what they're teaching, that they can make it relevant to the student in relation to their career path. How can they be more sustainable in their career even in the future? So that's just another campaign we were recently involved in.
Look, ladies, it's been great having you on Talk on NWRC, and thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Just to let people know that applications for our part-time courses will be opening soon, and you can find out more information on our website, which is www.nwrc.ac.uk.